Hey guys, so I just had this idea on the way here, excuse me, about how INFJs don't take sides. Now, where did I learn that? Did I learn that or is it just me? Um, well, I wouldn't say INFJs don't take sides because they do once they make their mind up. But, and we're doing all, but I'm always trying to frame this from the point of view of INFJs. Are they born or created, right? So that's the whole idea. And I'm taking the deep dive into me past for working out, did I become an INFJ or was I just one out of the box? So, you know, being a member of the herd, that's not really an INFJ thing, is it? You know, uh, you know, you sort of dance to your own drum, and you look at both sides of an argument or all the different factions or groups or something like that, and you put yourself in their shoes. Well, I think that if more people did that, the world would be a much better place. Um, so I can have I would never really call them arguments, like some people might think they're arguments if they're having a discussion and they're not winning. I like to have discussions, and I usually am not confrontational about it, or aggressive. Unless I need to mirror the other person's. Some people you need to mirror. They can't respond. Some people are just, unless you're mirroring their energy levels or their styles of communication, they can't hear anything. They think that they're just talking and you're listening. So sometimes you need to mirror. And that can be horribly... Had a bloke working for me once that for many years I liked him and stuff. Man, he was hard work. And he was the youngest of a whole lot of boys growing up in Africa, of a rich slave-owning family. And he was always feeling like people were picking on him. Because his older brothers probably did. But he was always trying to win every fight with everyone, every interaction he had with anyone. And that was always hard dealing with him, because I would have to be a person like him just to get through to him. And I hated that he brought that out of me. But it's just what you needed to do to communicate. But it's interesting that an INFJ can see all the sides quite often, put themselves in other people's shoes, and not take a side on a certain issue. And if you do, and if some more information comes up later on, you don't mind changing it. You don't mind. You go, oh well, that in the light of what's right and wrong. Oh yeah, that makes sense now. Yeah, I was wrong before. Okay, I'll change. I'll change my current thoughts. If the world could do that, gee, it'd be a much better place. So that's not to say that INFJs can't be making their mind up and judging people, because once you do, you go, and you either burn them, just write them off. That's it. You never deal with them. Most of my interactions with situations like that, you walk away from them, and you just never deal with that person or that type of person, and you tuck it away in your brain that you are now that type of personality, that this series of interactions, this sort of things, and you put that in a box and you go, oh, if that happens again, there's a fair chance that I might have to reference that, because it might be that, I might have to learn from that one. So you make some mistakes in your younger days, and you go, oh yeah, I don't want to deal with those sort of people. But to the stage, I run a business and stuff, and I don't If I don't like the customers, if I don't like the people, I don't deal with them. So I've said that before. Right? So did I learn that, or did I have that from the beginning? I don't know. I probably had a lot of that from the beginning. Definitely the sense of right or wrong. And I could definitely see things from both sides of things. Say parents are, having a fight. Mother would have started the fight because my dad would have come home from drinking with his buddies after work, or just working late, even, like running a business, mechanic business, and come home late, a few beers after work. That's just the drinking culture. A lot of Western society in those classes are drinking culture. It was, you're considered weird if you don't. That's a whole tribe thing. And so the fights would get started, and an extreme. There'd be lots of yelling and screaming and carrying on like pork chops, and at some stage, the plates and glasses and pots and pans would fly. It just sounds like an Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. Like I grew up in that. I grew up as a kid in that whole trial that they're talking about now. I grew up in that. That was 100%. And what I'm saying is I can see both sides of the picture, And when they're talking, Amber Heard's got this, don't like being left alone, and has to control the narrative, and all the stuff that they're talking about. I'm going, I'm starting to, all the psychologists talking about what Amber Heard is like, psychologically speaking, from licensed clinical psychologists and people that spend all the time with her. Check out that Bows versus the World thing, because there's one there with the actual psychologist, not Shannon, the other one, the weird looking one, the couples counsellor one. That was very interesting. I never saw that anywhere else except for on the Bows versus the World one. And so I can see some of all of that, her reasons, and I'm thinking, oh gee, I'm starting to understand my mother a little bit more. Although I sort of did understand it, but I'm just thinking, they're putting it into words, not emotional pictures. Emotional pictures with colours of fluoro green. Horrible, disgusting looks on their faces. The look that Amber Heard pulls. I know that face. I could pull it. I could pull it. If I got super angry, I'm sure the look on my face is disgusting. And I think that's what you do to confuse the hell out of the other person and make them fearful. Have this horrible look. You can do it. Like, I'm not an actor, but I've seen all the faces pulled, and I learnt them at a young age, I suppose. But I try to stay right away from anything to do with confrontation and anger and all that sort of stuff, and rage. And I am actually scared to have a fight because I don't know that I could stop myself sometimes. So that whole Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing, what I'm saying as an INFJ, I can see both sides of the story, totally. I can see all my mother's side, I can see my father's side. I can go back and see how far that goes back into the world, what caused my mother to be like that, what the framework of my father's family is, and all that sort of stuff, and how some of those frameworks made him feel special because he was treated like, I mean, he's a very charismatic sort of fella, you know, and all that sort of stuff. Everyone likes him, you know. It's like that whole Johnny Depp thing, you know, like, and 100%, I'm on Team Depp, 100%. I've looked at that straight away and I go, oh man, that's my mother. And I've already made my mind up on that a long time ago when I was 9. And, you know, left my brothers in it and I feel bad about it. But gee, I'll come back to another story in a minute. I had another story I wanted to talk about. I was keeping a separate story about my brother after I'd left. But I'm definitely, I've just run out of like aftershave, you know, smelly stuff. What do you call it? Eau de toilette, you know, parfum, something like that. Whatever it is, I've just run out of that, and I need some more. And actually, it was on the Bose versus the World thing, where she's done a shameless ad break for Johnny, and just sort of saying how Dior stuck with him as a brand. They never they never just folded to the old cancel culture, you know, peer pressure sort of stuff. Oh, we can't have bad press. They stuck with him. So I'm going out to get myself some. I don't even know what it smells like. I've actually, I think the missus might be going out there now to get me some. So Dior Sauvage. That's what I don't even know what it smells like. But I'm going to smell like Johnny Depp from now on. Well, I don't know if he uses it, but, you know, I'm just saying it feels like, to me, it's the right thing to do. And it's... INFJs don't take sides. They can see both sides. They can make up their mind at the end, though, and go, no, unless you can give me some more information. Yeah, no, I've made my mind up. So I made my mind up at 9 years old, which one was right and wrong, which one felt right and wrong. All of my brothers they were younger than me, you know, so I was 9, the next one's down, it's going to be 6, just after 6 sort of thing, but, you know, and then younger from that, three below that. They were all ripe for the stuff that she would have told them, and I know it was built into at least a couple of them. They in some underlying way have this thing that they want to get my dad back for beating up my mum. Well, if you only listen to one side of the story and you believe it, you're programmed from a very young age that that's what happened. And it could be, you know, just from you were in the room when she was talking about something, which didn't really happen. She was probably convincing the old stepdad as well, the bloke. He took off a few times to try and get away from her, but she sucked him back in by having another kid. That's how they do it. And so there's a couple of them that do think that my dad was a wife beater, but I'm pretty sure that's not the case, because I was old enough to see what was happening and hear what was happening and see how the arguments got started. Sneaky too, sneaky. Yeah. So, like, to me, this whole, not that I've seen I've seen a fair bit of it on YouTube, but I haven't watched the whole trials thing, stuff like that. You know, I'm not that much of a junkie for that stuff, but I haven't got time. But I watch a few. I watch a fair bit of it, and to me, if Amber Heard had done the old school female trick and trapped her man by having a kid, and they had a kid, that kid would have been me. And then you get to the stage where you're old enough to see what all the arguments are about all the time. I was 9. I was pretty worldly 9-year-old, being an INFJ and all, old soul, apparently. You know what's going on, and you know who's right and wrong. So Team Johnny. Team Johnny. I'm going to go with the herd. Team Johnny.